Young people proclaim the second reading very well. Does it sound familiar? When's the last time you went to a wedding? It's all over. That beautiful, powerful, almost better than Shakespeare presentation on love. It bears all things, endures all things, hopes all things. But do you know the context of that reading? That beautiful, beautiful reading? The context of that reading is written to the community of Christians in Corinth, and at the time of St. Paul, probably 40, 50, maybe 60 people. Diverse in class, gender, and gifts. But they had issues of division, of disagreements, of discourse. Because some thought that Paul was the best of the apostles, but others were followers of Peter. And they weren't caring for the poor and the marginalized in the midst. And there were a lot of hanky-panky going around. Like even man sleeping around with his stepmother. And there were things going on in the community. And some people have these special gifts to speak in prophecy and tongues, and they were telling other people that other people's gifts were not great. So in this beautiful reading of St. Paul, it's actually spoken to a community with a lot of issues. It's almost his way of saying, wake up. Wake up to what's really going on. And in the first reading, a beautiful reading, one of my favorite parts from Jeremiah, before Jesus speaks to Jeremiah, God speaks to Jeremiah, but speaks to each of us. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I dedicated you to go do something that I have given you in your life. Speak what I tell you. And if we know about Jeremiah, it wasn't popular. He was thrown down a well. He was beaten up. And then Jesus, today's gospel continues last week, that great proclamation of Jesus, which opens up his whole ministry, opens up the whole year of mercy. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, to send me to bring glad tidings to the poor, to help those who cannot walk, to free the prisoner, to comfort the oppressed. And Jesus, like Jeremiah, like Paul, spoke very prophetic words. But you know what happens when you and I speak prophetic words to people who know us very well? Oh, no, I know you. Oh, you really? Oh. And then what did they say? Hey, we heard you did miracles to the town nearby with a lot of non-Israelite outsiders. Why don't you do it here in your hometown? And Jesus says, no. And what happens? At the very same time that his very first homily, to his hometown, they threw him out and they wanted to throw him down this big hill to silence him. But this happens in our life, actually. Things happen in our life that wakes us up, and then we go back to sleep. Same old, same old. And that's what the readings today tell us, that God's word and God's presence and God's doing will wake us up. It's been said that a prophet is someone who hears God's word and then either comforts those who are afflicted or afflict those who are comfortable. I don't know about you, but for me, being comfortable is wonderful, but I never really grow. I don't grow from a place of comfort. It's good for a while, but none of us really grow. We grow when we wake up. We grow when we realize what is really going on in the world. Recently there is statistics 62 people in the world has more wealth and property than 50% of the world's population. So 62 of us in the world owns more property and wealth than 3.6 billion people in the world. We allow this to happen with our tax breaks. We allow this to happen with our comforted lifestyle. We allow this to happen with the many ways that we do. And look around, you and I, we live comfortable lives. There's nothing wrong with that, except God's word will come and God's sacrament will come and say, wake up. Wake up. And that's hard for us to hear. We'd rather hear beautiful words. Love is kind. Love is considerate. We'd rather hear those words. But those nice words is meant to sink deep into our heart. Those nice words about God's mercy that will never give up on you and I means take it, accept it, and then those people in your lives and my lives we can't imagine forgiving, try to be merciful. Those beautiful words like, oh, you love me, lovey-dovey, you're with me, and you're always helping me. And those people in our lives who annoy us, who pushes our wrong buttons, and who always take advantage of our love, those people we're called to love, even, as St. Paul says, sometimes in tough, difficult ways. And so there are times in our life that God says, wake up. Wake up from your comfort. Open out your hands more than ever to receive my great, wide mercy, and to do likewise. In the world, we are graded by how well we perform at work, how much money we make, who we know, and what part of society we belong to. But when we go to, before God to the next life, those are not the questions. The question is, how have you tried to free the prisoners? How have you tried to feed the hungry? How have you tried to love the difficult? How have you tried to be with the homeless and to be with people who may have a physical wall, but they don't really have a place? They don't really have anyone where they can be at home with. Yes, God's words are beautiful and powerful, but they're meant to wake you and I up. To wake up to what God wants to do with our life. To wake up to a God who wants us to be missionaries of mercy, missionaries of joy, like Pope Francis says, and to go out and be afflicted in our comfort and comfort the afflicted. And so wherever we are right now in our life, if we are one of the people who needs to be comforted, throw ourselves to God's mercy. And Lord, help me. And those of us who are comfortable, Lord, wake me up. Lord, remind me of the depth of your love. And maybe I have forgotten. Maybe I have never really received your love in its immensity. Maybe for me, faith is same old. Wake me up that I may remember what it was like when I'm down in the pits of my life and you have brought me up and someone has brought me up. Wake me up so that I can grow in gratitude and look at people around me and get out of my comfort zone and meet you in people who are difficult, in people you prefer to be with. Regardless if we are the afflicted or the comfortable, let us pray that like the rain today, the rain of God's grace pouring out on us, that we may open wide our hearts and receive and be woken up and become missionaries of mercy, disciples of joy.